Juneteenth is America's latest nationally recognized holiday, but so few know the origins of how it came to be. This is the history of Juneteenth.
Juneteenth may be a new holiday by some standards, but it's a holiday that's been a long time coming.
Juneteenth is less of a celebration and more of a day of remembrance for the continued injustices that Black people faced.
I know I, for one, am thankful for Juneteenth. I think holidays are important.
It's been widely known in the Black community that when slavery ended, it didn't really end for everyone.
Lincoln freed the slaves in 1863, but word didn't get around to some places until years later. Juneteenth is celebrated on June 19th because it wasn't until June 19th, 1865 that the last slaves in Texas were finally freed.
Juneteenth is just so necessary. Can you imagine not having days off?
Like slaves?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about holidays.
Juneteenth has been celebrated in some way since 1866. In the beginning, it was called Jubilee Day. It was used as an opportunity to provide voting instructions to the newly freed people. However, its popularity began to decline during the Jim Crow era.
Our organization has been working for years to get support and recognition of Juneteenth. We tried local government offices, small courts, hell, even church groups, and we couldn't get anyone to take this seriously.
Then Darrell stepped in. Darrell was absolutely instrumental in getting the nation to recognize Juneteenth.
I noticed there weren't any good holidays in June, and I was like, come on, man, it's basically summer. I need a day off.
What about Father's Day?
That's on a Sunday. It doesn't count.
Now, Darrell had the resources and connections to help us get the idea of Juneteenth in front of the right people.
Yeah, my mom is a senator, and I was like, Mom, I've got this great idea to get a 3-day weekend off in June.
When Darrell brought the idea of Juneteenth up to me, I was shocked this hadn't reached my desk before. All this time, I could have been extending my golfing trips through the weekend.
In any progressive movement, you take help where you can get it. Our help just happened to be, well, Darrell.
I actually met Darrell in a holding cell. I was being detained for attending a protest, and he was being held for public drunkenness.
Public drunkenness isn't illegal in New York, but they stop you if you're really, really drunk. Like, really drunk.
I was talking to him about Barbara Rose Collins, Opal Lee, and the history of trying to get Congress to recognize Juneteenth.
We've got so many great holidays from September to February, and it's great. Then March rolls around, and bam, nothing. St. Patty's is cool because green beer, but no days off. What the actual hell? And don't even get me started on April Fool's Day. Anyway, I meet this guy, and he's got this fully fleshed out thing in June. I don't really know what it is we're celebrating, but I can tell this thing has legs.
Without Darrell's influence, it could have been another 10, 20 years before Juneteenth would have been recognized on a national scale.
What about George Floyd's death and the aftermath?
Yeah, I get Labor Day and Memorial Day mixed up all the time. What I like most about Juneteenth is that June is in the name. You'll never forget what month it is.
Don't get me wrong, Darrell was very helpful in getting Juneteenth traction, but I don't know how much he needs to be featured in a documentary. Is he in this?
I'll admit I'm not an expert on Juneteenth.
Do you know what Juneteenth is?
I think it has something to do with the Civil War. Terrible what happened to Lincoln, by the way. I think he should get a day too. Maybe something in March.
There have been ups and downs in the popularity and evolution of Juneteenth, but it just brings me so much joy to see it recognized federally today.
I'm also pretty hyped about the sales, you know? 20% off Juneteenth discounts just in time for grilling season. Personally, I stock up on bratwurst and sunscreen.
The Emancipation Proclamation freed all the slaves in the Confederate States, but it was actually the 13th Amendment that freed all the slaves in the U.S. Slavery was still legal in the Union States, so folks in Delaware and Kentucky were still enslaved up until December 6, 1865.
Oh my god, I had no idea about that. But I'm totally down for pioneering December. Dude, imagine Christmas break and then 2 weeks later, another Christmas break. God bless America. God bless America.